They'd fished a dog out of the canal. Two feral urban skanks. He was shivering on the table, outside Lock 27, the dog. They'd gone into Lock 27 to plead for bar towels and food, didn't they? The skanks. For the dog. But the staff hadn't taken to their feral urban way of pleading, and the dog was chittering. I could see the bar staff's point. These skanks were sunken-eyed, skag-manky, bristle-jawed disasters, idling along the canal bank during the day for no good reason, and possibly hadn't brought a lot of diplomacy to the request for food and towels. Going in all slurred and sweary, man, with far more repetitions, man, of the word man, than the language was built to bear. Man. And maybe left out important bits too, that the bar towels and food and that were for the dog, man, which they'd fished out of the canal, and who was now whimpering on the table outside. How did he fall in? I asked. Cunts must have thrown him in, said the skanks. The banks were too steep for him to climb, so they'd fished him out. The dog. These skanks were exactly the sort of people you wouldn't want sitting behind you on the bus. You know, because they're loud and volatile, and maybe a wee bit blasé about doing sudden, unprovoked violence to passengers sitting in front of them. And one of them resembled that bloke who used to caper about with the Happy Mondays. Yeah, Bez. Yeah, one of them looked like Bez. Like someone had made a model of Bez out of mince. Bad mince. Bad mince gone furry and grey. Modelled Bez's head, then gouged rough eyes and a mouth with a potato peeler, and stuck some of the gougings back on as a nose. As a grey furry nose. Well, it's never right to judge a book by its cover. I sense that whatever humanity these skanks were ever blessed with had long ago been driven out of them by the deep destructive greed for mind-girdling drugs. You really wouldn't want them sitting behind you in the bus, or I wouldn't, or coming into your bar asking for towels and food and that for a dog. So I went in. I felt I had a better chance than the skanks. I may not at this point in my career have been the upstanding citizen you see before you today. I mean, I was hanging around by the canal for no good reason during the day. But I didn't look like Bez. And I could always grab a grip of myself and maybe come across as a fairly persuasive son of a gun. So I went in. I said, "Excuse me, could you help us out with..." "I already told your junkie pals," said the barman. He said, I reported outside to the skanks. He said no. The dog was shuddering, convulsing now and boking. One of the skanks had got his trainers soaked fishing the dog out. He was capering around the skank, a bit like Bez, trying to get warm. The other skank took off his kappa jacket, his ripe minging grim-stained junky gunky jacket, and wrapped it round the dog. He cuddled the boking dog in his tracky jacket. Now, I said that whatever humanity these skanks were ever blessed with had long ago been driven out of them. Yeah, well, I was wrong about that. So, maybe you would want them sitting behind you on the bus. You might prefer them. And I fully understand this. To nasty old book-covered judgers. Like me.